Hello everyone, welcome back to another rosy video about Magic the Gathering. We're going to be looking at another one of the Fallout Commander decks. Unfortunately, I did two of the decks and then took a quick break and did about 8 videos or so, or no, I don't know the specifics. I got distracted from the Fallout Commander decks because they revealed 4 new sets of spoilers with the Magic Con going on, and I believe there's going to be more Outlaws of Thunder Junction spoilers tomorrow. So I wanted to knock out the last 2 Fallout decks before I completely forgot about it. So let's just get right into it. Today or this video, we're going to be looking at the Science exclamation mark deck, and like all the other Fallout videos I've done, I'm just gonna read through all the new cards. Maybe just say if I think a reprint's a good reprint or if I think it's okay or anything like that. And we'll just quickly go through them. So I'm gonna try and cover every card that I see, and I'll give you my quick opinion on it. I'll tell you if I think they're gonna be good, if I think they're gonna be bad, if I think they're gonna be valuable, all the good stuff. So this science deck sees the return of the energy mechanic, which I believe hasn't been seen since Kaladesh, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We also saw in the in the Modern Horizons reveal, Modern Horizons 3, there is a commander deck that is based around energy there. So energy apparently is the returning mechanic of 2024. It's Wizards wants to get people back on the energy train. But anyway, Dr. Madison Lee is a Jeskai colored blue, red, and white 2/3 legendary creature human scientist that says whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get an energy counter. And then tap, pay 1 energy, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample and haste until the end of the turn. Tap, pay 3 energy to draw a card. Tap, pay 5 energy to return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. It's kind of a do-it-all energy commander. Honestly, I think anybody that's going to be playing energy is going to like this card. Um, you can give a creature trample and haste for 1 energy. You can draw a card for 3, or you can recur something from the graveyard for 5. It's just energy good stuff, I guess would be the way that I would describe Dr. Madison Lee. Now we'll go down to creatures. Assaultron Dominator is a 1 colorless and a red 2/2 artifact creature robot. When Assaultron enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. Whenever an artifact creature you control attacks, you may pay an energy. If you do, put your choice of a 1/1 count or choice of a 1/1, a first strike, or a trample counter on that creature. So maybe we have a little bit of a counter sub theme on top of energy counters. I'm not surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of proliferate effects, just to keep your energy ramp going. Brotherhood Scribe is a 1 colorless white 1/3 creature human artificer with metalcraft. Sorry, excuse me. Tap, you get an energy, and you can only activate that if you control 3 or more artifacts. Whenever you get 1 or more energy during your turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. That seems really good. Even it's like a mana dork for energy essentially. I think that they kind of realized that energy wasn't that strong when it was first printed. I didn't think that energy was that impactful. I thought there wasn't a lot of great energy cards to support the idea of energy. So seeing cards that are essentially energy mana dorks and cards that, whenever you get 1 or more energy, so every instance of energy, you give all your creatures +1/+1, like that's really strong for a deck like this. And this is going to be the reason that we see energy in Commander more, this deck right here. And of course, the Modern Horizons deck coming out too is probably going to get a lot of support for Commander. Kiri Emergent Intelligence is a 1 colorless and a blue 1/3 legendary artifact creature robot. Whenever Kiri deals damage to a player, draw cards equal to its base power. So you'll always draw 1 card because its base power is 1. For 1 colorless and blue, you can exile another non-token artifact creature you control. Kiri becomes a copy of that. Okay, well that makes sense. Becomes a copy of the exiled creature, except it has whenever this creature deals combat damage to player, draw cards equal to its base power. So you can get Kiri to copy something, hopefully something with a strong base power, so like 3 or 4 or something like that. So then you can hit and draw 3 or 4 cards. That's pretty good, especially for 2 mana, and then you can just pay 2 mana at any other point to do that. And you can do that instant speed, it seems like. So that's solid. I like that a lot. If it gets targeted with a lightning bolt, you can, in response, pay the 2 mana to exile another creature and then make it whatever. I'm thinking a little too much into it. Loyal Apprentice is a reprint. It's decent, helps Commander for sure. Especially with artifacts support in this deck, like it's solid inclusion. Nothing crazy though. Red Death Shipwrecker is a blue and a red 1/3 legendary creature crab mutant with alluring eyes. You can tap to go target creature an opponent controls. That player draws a card, and you get to add a red mana. Interesting. I actually like him a lot. He doesn't really do much for the energy theme, but that's a fun card. He's a crab mutant. I mean, just the honestly the art is awesome. I love the red eyes piercing through the fog and stuff. I remember those guys in Fallout 4. Very, or just the crabs in general, not necessarily Red Death specifically, but very, very fun card. I like that a lot. Steel Overseer is a great reprint for the artifact deck. James Wandering Dad is a 2 colorless and a blue 2/4 legendary creature human scientist. With tap, add 2 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Seems like we get a lot of dorks in this deck. But it also has adventure for X and 2 blue. It's an instant that says investigate X times. So not bad. A lot of the MKM cards will probably want something like this. Or will synergize well with it, I guess. Maybe they don't want it specifically, but anyway, Nick Valentine, Private Eye is a 2 colorless and a blue 2/2 legendary artifact creature synth detective. Nick can't be blocked except by artifact creatures. Whenever Nick or another artifact creature you control dies, you may investigate. So more MKM's strategy. We've gotten so many clue tokens with the last set. I'm kind of burnt out on clues personally. I'm just not a clue token guy. I've said that in my MKM videos. I'm just not a clue token person. But anyway, Paladin Dance is Steel Maverick. Why did I say is? 2 colorless and a white 3/3 legendary artifact creature synth knight with vigilance and lifelink. And then you can exile Paladin Dance Steel Maverick. Each creature you control that's an artifact or human gains indestructible until the end of the turn. So just a little bit artifact and human protection. So both artifact creature decks and human decks will probably want something like that just to protect their board a little bit. Rex Cyberhound is a one colorless white and blue 2/2 legendary artifact creature robot dog. Whenever Rex deals combat damage to a player, they mill 2 cards and you get 2 energy. And you can pay 2 energy to choose target creature card in a graveyard, exile with a brain counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery, so you can target your opponents with that. So that's where the mill is nice. Rex does all activated abilities of all cards in the exile with brain counters on them. Interesting. That's actually really fun. I like the idea. So you'd run a mill and energy like combo strategy deck with him as a commander. That's really fun. I'm curious to see how people are going to build around that for sure. Synth Eradicator is a 2 colorless and a red 3/3 artifact creature synth soldier with haste. And whenever it attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may get 2 energy counters. If you don't, you may play that card this turn. Tap, pay 3 energy. Synth Eradicator deals 3 damage to any target. Interesting. That's kind of a do-it-all red energy artifact commander, or not commander, creature. It lets you exile the top. You may get 2 energy off that, and if you don't, you can play that turn, so you can get a little bit of the. I always forget what it's called when I'm recording, but like the risky draw essentially. Or you can get them to tap and ping someone for 3 if you have 3 energy. It's cool. For 3 mana, that's not bad at all. I actually like him a lot. Arcade Ganon, 2 colorless and a white and blue for 2/3 legendary creature human doctor. Tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Put a quest counter on Arcade Ganon. And then once during each of your turns, you may cast an artifact or human spell from your graveyard with mana value less than or equal to the number of quest counters on Arcade Ganon. So more quest counter support. We saw that in some of the other decks too. I like it because it fits right into Fallout and the feel of going on quests and doing all that fun stuff. And then more artifact and human support, it seems like. So this deck seems kind of intertwined with artifact creatures and human creatures, so that's very interesting. But Elder Owen Lyons is a 2 colorless white and blue 3/3 legendary creature human knight. With artifacts you control, have ward 1. And when Elder enters the battlefield or dies, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So just a little bit more artifact recovery. Not bad at all. Also gives all your artifacts Ward 1. So that includes non-creature artifacts. That's solid. I like that. I like the little bit of protection that Ward 1 provides. Obviously, it's Ward 1, so it's not a whole lot, but sometimes that's all you need, you know? Robo Brain Warmind is a 3 colorless and a blue star 5 artifact creature robot, and Robo Brain's power is equal to the number of cards in your hand. When Robo Brain Warmind enters the battlefield, you get an amount of energy equal to the number of artifact creatures you control. And then whenever Robo Brain attacks, you may pay 3 if you do draw a card. So just card draw, synergy, and then more artifact synergy. I mean, I don't think that's anything crazy, nothing to write home about, but it works in this deck. Solemn Simulacrum is just a classic card. Whirler Rogue is pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of it. This is the alternate commander, I believe. Liberty Prime Recharged is a 2 colorless blue, red, and white 8/8 legendary artifact creature robot with vigilance, trample, and haste. It's a little bit of keyword soup there. And whenever Liberty Prime attacks or blocks, sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energy. So that makes sense why it's an 8/8 for 5 with 3 keywords, is because there's a little bit of a cost in order to attack or block with it. I like that it says attacks or block, because then you can't just chump block with an 8/8 that you got for cheap. For 2 colorless and a tap, sacrifice an artifact, you get 2 energy and draw a card. So it kind of helps pay for itself. That's kind of nice. I like that. It's just a big energy creature that you're going to play on a deck like this. Sentinel Sarah Lions is a 3 colorless red and white 4/4 legendary creature human knight. Haste. As long as an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, creatures you control get +2/+2. So the way that is worded means that it can only trigger once. So it's not every artifact that enters the battlefield. It's just if any artifact at all enters the battlefield, you get 1 instance of getting +2/+2. And then whenever Sentinel Sarah and at least 2 other creatures attack, Sentinel Sarah deals damage equal to the number of artifacts you control to target player. That's not bad for a... I mean, it's a little high cost mana, but it's not bad for a win condition for an artifact heavy deck where, you know, you're going to swing out and then, oh, I got 40 artifacts, I'm going to one-shot you with it, you know? So that part's kind of nice. Sentry Bot is a 4 colorless white 2/5 artifact creature robot with flash. I love that robots are getting supports. Like, that's just a fun creature type. But anyway, it's got flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature attacking you. When Sentry Bot enters the battlefield, you get 1 energy for each creature attacking you. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy if you do put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Honestly, I don't think that is that good, because it's incentivizing you to flash it in when people are swinging at you with a lot of creatures, but it doesn't do anything to mitigate the damage you're going to take from them swinging at you with a lot of creatures. But, you know, if they swing at you with 4 1/1 tokens and you get to flash in a 2/5 for 1, that's a good trade-off. But if someone's going to swing at you with 30 tokens or 30 creatures or whatever, and this is all you can do in response is flash in a 2/5 for 1 white, and you get energy tokens or energy counters for all of it, I mean, I just don't see that being super, super strong. Obviously, the energy part is nice, but the way that you have to go about getting it makes it kind of risky in my eyes, or just not great, at least. Sean, Father of Synths, is a 3 colorless blue and red 3/4 legendary creature human scientist. Whenever you attack, you may create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of target attacking legendary creature you control other than Sean, except it's not legendary and it's a synth artifact creature in addition to its other types. When Sean leaves the battlefield, exile all synth tokens you control. So that's whenever you attack, period. You can create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of target attacking legendary creature you control that's not legendary. That's pretty fun. That would work well in a lot of decks that do multiple combat steps. I can't think of off the top of my head any decks that do that stuff, but like the first one that comes to mind is Nagila, but Nagila's kind of competitive sided and you're not going to drop a 5 mana guy in Nagila, but there's some decks that's going to want that for sure. Synth Infiltrator is a 3 colorless 2 blue 0/0 with improvise. So that means your artifacts can help you cast a spell. Every artifact you tap pays 1 colorless for it. In addition, pays 1 colorless for the cost. You may have Synth Infiltrator enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature on the battlefield, except it's a synth artifact creature in addition to its other types. So it looks like we're getting humans, energy counters, and synths. I believe this was the first instance of the synth creature type in Magic, so I don't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of support for synth, but you know, having an improvise copy like target creature for 2 blue mana, if you have three artifacts that can help you pay for it, like that's not a bad card by any means. I think some people will like that for sure. The Motherlode Excavator is a 3 colorless, 2 red, 5/5 legendary artifact creature robot. And when the Motherlode Excavator enters the battlefield, choose target opponent, you get an amount of energy counters equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. Whenever the Motherlode attacks, you may pay 4 energy, and when you do, destroy target non-basic land defending player controls, and creatures that player controls without flying can't block this turn. That's pretty solid, especially for an energy drink, an energy deck. Excuse me. Being able to make creatures without flying can't block this turn. Most creatures don't have flying, so that's going to hit a lot of people. And also getting to a little bit of land hate for 4 energy is not bad at all, especially in some of those higher level pods where they're almost running all non-basic lands. So that's fun. And also, the higher power that you play, the more energy counters you are going to get off of him entering the battlefield. So, very, very fun. It's not a cast, so you can flicker him too and just get a ton of energy. I don't think there's any flicker effects in this deck necessarily, but I am a fan of that card. Behemoth of Vault Zero is a 6 colorless, 6/6 artifact creature robot with trample, and whenever it enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy. Whenever Behemoth of Vault Zero dies, you may pay an amount of energy equal to target non-land permanent's mana value. When you do, destroy that permanent. Interesting. So you get, for 6 mana, you get 6/6 with trample and 4 energy, and then when he dies, you can kill something if you have enough energy for it. Solid. I mean, I think that deck wants it. You know, it's kind of a beater. It helps with energy. Like it's doing everything right. That's for sure. Dispatch is a great artifact, instant spell. Every artifact, if you run artifacts and you have white in your deck, you should be running Dispatch. Swords of Plowshare is another solid card. Electro Siphon, I believe, is new. It's 2 blue and a red, instant counter target spell. You get an amount of energy equal to its mana value. That is essentially a mana drain, but for energy, which is fun. I like that they're doing that. Thirst for Knowledge is a reprint. It's good for artifacts. Crush Contraband is not bad. It sees prints everywhere. Glimmer of Genius is alright. More energy support. One with the Machine's pretty good. It's just a lot of artifact support and stuff like that. Unexpected Windfall is solid. Bottle Cap Blast is new, I believe. 4 colorless and a red, instant with Improvise. We talked about what Improvise does already. Bottle Cap Blast deals 5 damage to any creature. If excess damage is dealt to the permanent way, create that many tapped treasure tokens. That's fun. That is, you know what? A deck like Prosper might want that. I know I talk about Prosper a lot, but that's my favorite deck that I have. I could see that being put in there. I might have to try that out myself. Austere Command is a solid board wipe. Most people, if you're running a budget deck, you should be running Austere Command in the deck. I in my opinion, at least. Open the Vaults. Another just solid card. Good reprint for this deck especially. Wake the Past. Return all artifacts. It's literally just the same as Open the Vaults, essentially. But one-sided. Yes. Open the Vaults hits everyone. Wake the Past is one-sided and just artifacts versus Open the Vaults is artifacts and enchantments. It hits everyone. But good cards. Everflowing Chalice, good artifact. Soul Ring, staple. Every deck should have a Soul Ring, except for like 1 or 2. Wayfarer's Bauble, staple. This is the one that Commander's Quarters loves, isn't it? He runs it in everything, so maybe we should start running it in everything too. Arcane Signet, solid. Automated Assembly Line is a 1 colorless and a white artifact. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal damage to a player, you get an energy counter. So just 1, and then pay 3 energy. Create a tap 3/3 colorless robot artifact creature token. So that's a great just mana sink for energy sink, I guess. Great energy sink for this deck. And you get a little bit of payback every time you attack with the robot, so robot support too, or artifact support. Sorry. Expert level safe is a 2 colorless artifact. When it enters the battlefield, exile top 2 cards of your library face down. For 1 colorless and a tap, you and target opponent each secretly choose 1, 2, or 3. Then those choices are revealed. If they match, sacrifice the expert level safe and put all cards exiled with it into their owner's hands. Otherwise, exile the top card of your library face down. Oh, so every time you attempt to match up or whatever, you get another card on top of that. And once you finally match up, you get all the cards. That's fun. That is not strong by any means whatsoever, but I would run this in any of my casual decks just as a fun way to do a different interaction than what you normally do in Magic. So I'm a fan of that. I think that's a really cool card, and it's a really fun way to do the safe lock picking mechanic that is well loved and well established in every single Bethesda game. It seems like Lightning Greaves, awesome card, awesome reprint. Love to see it here. Mind Stone, another solid mana rock. Plasma Caster is a 1 colorless and a red artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you get 2 energy counters. Then you can pay 2 energy counters. Choose target creature that's blocking the equipped creature. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, exile the chosen creature. Otherwise, it deals 1 damage to it. And then equip 2. So it pays for its own ability. Just every time you attack, you get to... every time you attack, you get to pay the energy, essentially. And then somebody has to block the equipped creature. So yeah, you can just do it every time, essentially, because in order to choose target creature that's blocking the equipped creature, you have to attack with the equipped creature, and you get the 2 energy. So I don't understand the purpose of having the energy there, besides the fact that if you don't decide to pay for it, then you just get 2 energy. So maybe that's why. But that's a cool card. I like the coin flip mechanic of doing 1 damage or getting to just completely eradicate it. It's very flavorful with plasma from Fallout. T45 Power Armor is a 2 colorless artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Whenever equipped creature gets +3/+3 and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay energy. If you do untap equipped creature, then put your choice of a menace, trample, or lifelink counter on it, and with the equipped 3. That's solid. I mean, I don't know how strong it is necessarily. I think there's better energy cards, but if you're wanting to run Plasma Caster and other energy equipment cards, then that's a solid energy equipment card. The Talismans are great cards. Love seeing them get reprinted. They used to be really expensive. Or not really expensive, but they were more than they probably should have been. So it's nice to see them drop in price. You can see their prices over here. It's nice to see that price go down and they become more accessible for the average player. Thought Vessel, another great card. Love to see the reprint here. Works well with this deck. Brotherhood Vertibird is a 3 colorless star 4 artifact vehicle. With flying, whenever Brotherhood Vertibird's power is equal to the number of artifacts you control, and has crew 2. So that is a great artifact card for any vehicle deck, especially. Vehicles, unfortunately, unless you're building around them, I don't feel like vehicles are that strong. And that's just my opinion. But not much to say about it. Here we have CAMP Camp for 3 colorless artifact Fortification. Now, is Fortification a thing we've seen before, or am I crazy? Whenever fortified land is tapped for mana, is it just a equipment for land essentially? Whenever fortified land is tapped for mana, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. If that creature shares a color with the mana that land produced, create a junk token. So more junk token. It's fun to see new mechanics like junk tokens being added with the universes beyond sets. I'm actually a fan of that. And if fortify is 3 colorless, you pay 3. Attached to target land you control, fortify only as sorcery. So yep, it's literally just an equipment for land. And it helps out your creatures and you get junk tokens. So that's fun. That's a cool card. I like that a lot. Endurance Bobblehead is another one of the bobbleheads. They do the exact same thing as every other bobblehead. They are 3 colorless and they tap for a mana and then they have their own effects. So this one says pay 3, tap up to X target creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until the end of the turn, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. Cool. That's a cool bobblehead. I like that. It fits endurance very well. Intelligence, same thing. For 5 and tapping, you can draw X cards where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. I can't wait to see people's bobblehead builds, but I myself am not that excited for the bobbleheads. I really just don't. They just don't do anything for me. I'm not a big enough fan of the series either to feel like I need to build around the bobbleheads a lot, but that's just me. Nuka-Cola Vending Machine is a 3 colorless artifact for 1 mana tap, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a food, create a tap treasure token. Every single food deck is going to want this card. This is an awesome card for food decks. And yeah, it's going to see a lot of play, and it's going to be very expensive after they stop printing this deck. That's for sure. Until they reprint it, that is. Or reprint a Universes Within card. Mystic Forge is a reprint. It's awesome for artifact card or artifact decks. Not much to say there. Panharmonicon, another great card for ETB triggered abilities. And we have a lot of ETBs that give energy counters, so that's really good for this deck. The Pridewin Steel Flagship, I believe that's how you say that. 4 colors and 2 white, 6/6 legendary artifact vehicle, flying. Whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white human knight creature token with this creature gets +2/+2 as long as the artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn. And it has crew 2. It's cool. Like I said earlier, vehicles, I believe that vehicles are only really good if you're building around vehicles. So like Shorikai is gonna want these vehicles. They're good vehicles, but they just don't really do anything for this deck specifically, and they'll probably be among the first cuts that people make when they are trying to upgrade this deck, which I think is a valid opinion. If you don't agree with me, let me know down below. Enchantments, over encumbered is the enchantment aura, the enchant opponent. It's a 1 colorless and a white. When it enters the battlefield, enchanted opponent creates a clue, a food, and a junk token. At the beginning of combat, on enchanted opponent's turn, that player may pay 1 for each artifact they control. If they don't, creatures can't attack this combat. I think this is going to be a great card that people will run in very artifact heavy metas. So if you play with your friends, and let's say your friend has just literally think of any artifact deck ever. If they're running Mere Tribal and you run this card, it completely shuts down their deck until they can get rid of the enchantment. It's just a solid card. I like stacks pieces like this because it's a little more creative than just, oh, you can't attack me because I have an enchantment that says you must pay X amount. This one's like, oh, if you're running more artifacts, then you're going to struggle to attack me, so maybe you need to get rid of your artifacts or you need to pay for it in a certain way. Or, it also gives them tokens, so they get a free junk token that they can tap to play a card off the top of their library to get rid of it quickly. They can pay for a food token, they can get a draw off the clue token. Like, there's ways to play around it that's not just, hey, you need to get this much mana or you need to remove my enchantment. Anyway, Nerd Rage is a 2 colorless and a blue enchantment aura enchant creature. When Nerd Rage enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. So that's for 3 mana and ETBs draw 2 cards. Like, that's pretty good on top of having other effects. Enchanted creature you have no maximum hand size, and whenever this creature attacks, if you have 10 or more cards in your hand, it gets +10/+10 until the end of the turn. Solid. Any deck that runs like heavy card draw and like you want unlimited as much drawing as you can. If you have a Psychosis Crawler win con, like maybe this is a good way to get an alternate, commander damage win con in a deck like that. I'm just spitballing though. Who knows? Mechanized Production, great enchantment to win the game with, especially if you're making a ton of tokens and stuff like that. Vault 112, Sadistic Simulation, is a 2 colors, a blue and a red. It's a saga. The first 2 say tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. You get 2 energy. Some more energy support, and then... The third part of the saga says pay any amount of energy. If you paid 1 or more energy this way, shuffle your library, then exile that many cards from the top. You may play one of those cards without paying its mana cost. Cool. So it's another energy sink. You're producing a ton of energy, so why not, spend 10 energy, exile 10 cards off top of your library and get to play 1 for free. Like, that's cool. I like that card a lot. It works well with this deck too. Vault 13, Dweller's Journey, is a 3 colors and a white saga. The first one says, for each player, exile up to 1 other target enchantment or creature that player controls until Vault 13 leaves the battlefield. The second one says you gain 2 life and you scry 2. And the third says return 2 cards exiled of Vault 13 to the battlefield under their owner's control and put the rest on the bottom of their owner's library. So you get to basically return your card and another opponent's card, and you put the other 2 on the bottom of their owner's library. So it's kind of delayed removal. I don't really know how strong that is, to be honest, but it definitely is a little bit of politicking, just because you get to put, it says return 2 cards exiled with it. So obviously you're gonna have to make a deal with somebody or bring back the least threatening or anything. There's so many different things you can do with that card. I'm a fan. I like it a lot. If we go to the lands here and we look through them, it's the same thing as all the other ones where there's a ton of reprints. One of the notable reprints I see here is Treasure Vault. Is very, very nice, and it's nice to see it just get reprinted, period. And then where is, I believe Helios 1 is the new card. Every other Precon so far has had one land that is like a Fallout specific land. I believe Helios 1 is a Fallout specific land. But anyway, this is a land that taps for a colorless. You can pay 1 to tap to get an energy counter. You can pay 3 to tap, pay X energy, sacrifice it, destroy target non-land permanent with mana value X, activate only as a sorcery. Awesome for this deck. It literally is just a great land for this deck. Like, I have no... It taps to give you an energy, or you can, you know, destroy something with energy. So, very, very nice. Yeah, I'm excited for this deck. I don't think I'm going to pick up a copy unless I really, really decide that I want to do some energy shenanigans. But the cards are very cool in it. There's a couple that I might pick up singles of. Like, I could see myself picking up Red Death Shipwrecker. I really like that card. And then maybe... I don't know. There's some... I might want the Fallout arts of some cards. I like the automated assembly line, but if you're not building around energy, it's not that great, I guess. And I really like Bottle Cap Blast. I just think that could be good in any really artifact heavy deck, or like I said earlier, Prosper would maybe want a copy of it. But anyway, that's all I got for today for this video. Check out my other content if you want to see more Magic the Gathering content similar to this. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments down below. If you didn't enjoy the video, also let me know. I won't take your criticism to heart, but I will consider it for improving my channel. Besides that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I've really enjoyed making videos recently, as you can tell by the amount that I've just pumped out. And I hope you guys stick around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Besides that, I got nothing else. I'll see you guys in the next video.